The NBA using the popularity of Christmas Day games to air controversial anti-gun violence ads like this one.
I heard about a shooting involving a 3-year-old girl over the summer. My daughter Riley is that age.
There was a point when I felt that I was going to die.
My parents used to always say a bullet doesn't have a name on it.
It uses some of the league's top players. You saw Steph Curry and others there. It's funded by former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg's anti-gun organization, Every Town for Gun Safety. But is this the right platform for these ads? Here now to debate it is the founder of Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt, and former NFL player and entrepreneur, Chris Valletta. Welcome both and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Larry, I wonder, what is your issue with NBA? You support the Second Amendment. Why can't NBA players express their First Amendment rights to speak out?
Well, I think they're very welcome to speak their mind, but they shouldn't be surprised if some of their fans aren't going to be that pleased and decide that they don't want to subsidize opinions that don't agree with theirs. Movie stars have done this, and there's a lot of hypocrisy when these kind of folks do this because they live in a protected environment, unlike most of us who don't have guards at home, don't have guards at the office. We just have to take care of ourselves.
We've been asking for viewer comments. I want to bring Chris in by getting one of those comments. Tom wrote in, the NBA on guns is like the WWE against bullying. I bet if a lot of those players don't have guns themselves, they have bodyguards who do. You just heard Larry make that point. A lot of these players are able to express their own Second Amendment rights. Some of them have guns. There have been some infamous incidents, in fact, in NBA locker rooms with players carrying guns.
Well, look, I mean, I think there's 2 points here. There's the issue of addressing gun control, but then there's also the issue of addressing gun violence, and those are two completely different things. We're not going to agree on control. There's staunch Second Amendment, advocates. Well, I'm one of them. And then there's people on the other side. But we can all agree that limiting gun violence is the most important thing. I'm a huge advocate of the NBA and particularly players in this regard stepping into this role because of their appeal to the demographic most susceptible to gun violence. 76% of the NBA is black Americans, and black Americans are twice as likely to die from gun violence in this country. So I think it's the right thing for the NBA to do. I'm proud that they're doing it, and I think it should be a precedent for other leagues to do so.
Chris, I get it. It's a younger demographic. They're reaching out to African-American kids in particular. But doing this on Christmas Day, shouldn't people have a chance to celebrate with their families and not have what is seen clearly as a political message?
Well, you can look at it as a political message. Look, I think I look at it as addressing gun violence. And I think this is an issue like abortion. You're pro-life or you're pro-choice, but we can all agree that we want to limit the number of unwanted pregnancies. And I think this is a case where instead of focusing on gun control, let's focus on limiting gun violence. And I think that's what the NBA is trying to do with this message, and I hope it continues.
Larry, what about that? It sounds like a fair point that people can certainly have and do have their Second Amendment rights. But if NBA players want to reach out particularly to young African Americans and say, let's stop gun violence, unwanted, unneeded gun deaths. You can exercise your Second Amendment rights, but let's cut down on on the violence. What's wrong with that?
Well, my guns are perfectly nonviolent. It would seem to me that maybe a more productive area of pursuit would be that of anger management. We've got young people who see all kinds of media where people losing control of themselves is never censured. It's always glorified. This culture of violence that surrounds them either in reality or especially in unreality in the media. So let's go after some anger management and leave our guns alone. We may need our guns for people who didn't take proper anger management courses.
Chris, I'm going to give you the last word.
Look, a disarmed America is a subservient America, so I agree that you should leave our guns alone. But I think the focus on gun violence, particularly with the NBA players and the appeal they have to the demographic susceptible to gun violence, is the right message. It needs to continue, because at some point it will resonate. Even if it resonates with just one, it's worth it.
Chris and Larry, appreciate you both getting a chance to express your views. We've been getting a lot of viewer comments. You can still do that, friends at foxnews.com. Merry Christmas to both of you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.